Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, and it is almost March. Today is February 28th, but we are making segments with candidates who are going to be on the ballot on April 4th. And our guest, you may recognize her, is Joyce Hall. Joyce, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Joyce, you are on the Hudson City Council, and you represent District 6, correct?
Yes.
Now, you are up for your 5th term, meaning you've been on the council 8 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, let's start with who your constituents are. Where is District 6 in the city of Hudson?
So District 6, most of it is in the northeastern part of the city. So it's bordered by, the county building is in my district, the middle school and the in Prairie. Then also the high school is in my district. The western border of my district is 11th Street for north of Vine, but south of Vine I've got some. A lot was added to my district south of Vine, so now I have a little bit more of Stone Pine, a little bit more of the area. So, for example, the cemetery is now part of my district, and
okay.
It goes all the way down to Williams Park.
Okay, so CCH, is that in yours now? Or is that?
I don't believe CCH is in my.
It may just run
district
along
anymore.
Wisconsin
No.
Avenue there.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yes.
Well, and these districts change because of the census from 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first full election after those results came in. So the old maps were in effect before, and now you've got slightly different, but most people, anyway, for the most part, will have seen your name on the ballot before. You ran once for mayor, and this is your 5th council term. So let's give our viewers, again, a little reminder as to what you do for a day job, what you do besides being on the council.
Well, I'm a technical college instructor. I've been working for Northwood Technical College, which used to be WITC. So I have been their math lab tutor so my title is math lab specialist for the last 5 years. I've been working there for 7 years, also doing adult basic education. And then I also have my own business doing some direct sales.
Okay, very good. Now, then in the committees, let's start with your current committees and what other ones you might have served on before. But currently, you are on?
I'm on the Finance Committee. I'm on the Public Safety Committee. I've been on the Public Safety Committee since I joined the council. And then I'm on the Public Utilities Commission as well. And then everybody who's on the Finance Committee is also on the Board of Review. So if people have...
Board of Review would review requests for variances and conditional use?
No, it would be for if they don't believe that their assessments are correct.
Oh, so it's tax related.
Tax related.
All right. And that would make sense, finance being the budget committee, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And your other experience has been on Public Works previously?
No, I wasn't on Public Works, but
Okay.
I've been on the library board. I've been on the North Hudson Cable Board. I've been on the library board and its finance committee, and then I was also on the Intergovernmental Advisory Council, and I was a liaison to the school board for a while.
Okay, that's right. And I remember you coming to our school board meeting.
Yes.
So, okay. So, in those 8 years, what do you think, what action has been taken that you've supported that has improved Hudson the most?
The most. Well, having a new fire station is really huge. Having an updated wastewater treatment plant is big as well. Then we've done so much work on the roads. So one of the projects that I was pushing for and supported was getting a map of the streets in Hudson, where they're at right now and what they need, so that we would know. We knew that a lot of the streets needed repair, but we didn't know exactly how many and which ones. So now we're in the process of prioritizing them so that we know that we know that we can't fix all of them quickly because we just don't have the money to do that. But now we're in the process of prioritizing them so that we can agree on which ones are the most important to get fixed.
Now, folks that not familiar with how local governments are financed, and there are, mostly it's from the property tax. Do you get any sharing of like the sales tax or anything like that?
No,
generated?
there is, we get some shared revenue from the state, but it's really a small amount, like $200,000 a year, which isn't that much. So, like compared to River Falls, they get quite a bit more.
10 times more, yes. Okay.
And so, Hudson is really dependent on the property tax. The public utilities, so the water and the wastewater, those are all paid for through the sale of
fees,
water, the
right.
user fees, and,
Okay.
and the use of the sewer. So that is not part of it's part of the regular budget, but it is completely separate.
Speaking of the budget, do you know what it is on an annual basis?
It's around 10 million, I believe, but I
Okay.
don't know exactly what it is.
All right, but nonetheless, within there, you can increase things only so much because of the levy limits, and when it comes to long-term equipment or capital projects, those end up getting bonded, correct? Yes. And what you can't do is say we're going to just improve all the streets all at once and do it under one big bond. You got to stagger it over terms of years.
If
correct?
we did that, I think our taxpayers wouldn't. They'd
There'd be a revolt.
Well, they would be taxed out of their homes because there would. That's how much work that needs to be done on the streets at this point.
Okay, so you mentioned some of the things that you're most proud of. So let me ask you two questions, and the first one is, you've been a guest on the show before, and sometimes you've had opposition. This time you don't. And not only do you not have opposition, but there's 3 other council members who are looking for re-election, or in Lynn Wakefield's case, it's an election to the board. But why do you think there is no opposition to any of the city council positions this year?
Well, I think that some of it is what issues are in front of the council. And right now, we don't have any things that are as divisive as before. One time when I was unopposed, it was right after, so the EMS business was being resolved, and we were in the middle of contract talks with Lakeview EMS, and none of us had opposition. And so I think that a lot of it is when we've got things that people disagree with. But I think also that post-COVID, there was so much controversy over masks versus non-masks, and whether we should close businesses because of concerns about the spread of COVID. I think that a lot of people just don't want to get involved with those things because they see that as a really difficult decision. There's some difficult decisions that have to be made.
Well, you did have opposition 2 years ago, and we were
Yes.
right smack in the middle of COVID, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then you got through COVID, and you've had these accomplishments since you've been on the council. So why would you want to continue running? If nobody else is willing to do this job, why are you?
Well, first of all, I really enjoy serving the public, and I get great satisfaction out of taking a phone call or an email and then being able to direct them to the right people in the city.
So you do constituent service?
Yes. And then, I enjoy working with the city employees. We've got some really good people working for the city. And I enjoy chatting with them. I enjoy working with them and calling them and saying, okay, one of my constituents is asking for this. What can we do to help them? And I also, I'm proud of my accomplishments, but there's so much more that needs to be done. And I'm happy to be doing that.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you run if you get to have a chance to be on a council of the best place to live in the Midwest, right?
That's right.
So what would be your highest priority for things looking forward from here on out? We've talked about looking in the rearview mirror, but now looking ahead, what do you think should be the priority of being tackled first?
Well, my priorities are tied to my values. So the top priority for me is making sure that public safety and well-being of the residents and the workers and the visitors in Hudson is monitored, and that we have policies in place to protect them. So it's more than just police and fire protection, which of course are extremely important and are a big part of our budget, but it's also having safety. For example, a lot of our streets have a lot of fast-moving traffic going down them, and so we're looking at traffic calming measures. That's a huge
That has been a big topic, hasn't it, of discussion?
Yes. And so one of the things that I've done that has been helpful is, well, I've been working on getting a speed hump policy, but also a traffic calming policy put together for the city. And so one of the things that I've been able to do is have a speed hump trial. So Chestnut now gets temporary speed humps during the summer. And when I went down the street to ask people, okay, what are you worried about for the city? Because I was campaigning, and I'd ask people, what do you think about those speed humps? And most of them, they were used to it by then. But the people who had children said, I am so glad to have those. It really has slowed down the traffic, and it has. And we've got the data that shows that
So
it does.
might there be some expansion of that on other streets?
I don't know if we will have a lot of speed humps because they're not the optimum for streets. So if a street is being repaved and completely rebuilt, there are other ways to have traffic calming measures incorporated into the design. So for example, if you look downtown, we have bump outs at the street corners.
Okay.
And that is designed to slow down the traffic, because anything that narrows the street is going to slow down the traffic. And so there are a lot of other things like the bump outs. Roundabouts will slow down traffic as well, but of course they're not a very popular
Right.
way
So
of
you've
doing
been judicious in installation of those. Okay. So, and you mentioned, the streets, and that is the Public Works Committee, but it also is finance, right?
But it's also public safety.
Yeah.
So what we get in public safety versus what they get in public works. Public works gets, all right, these streets need to be repaired. We get, these streets need something done to make them more safe. And so then we have to let the city engineer know and the public works director know, all right, we need this done so that when the street is being redone and when public works approves that they will incorporate these features into it.
And we've been seeing that, the city's been considering whether it's updating their fleet of cars, also, body cams and hiring officers. So do you feel like that is an area that we'll continue to see perhaps new dollars being spent?
Well, one of the things that I've advocated for is having more electric vehicles for the city and being more aware of climate change and our use of fossil fuels, things like that. So I'm expecting that we will have more hybrid and electric vehicles that will be purchased by the city. And they make sense for use within the city because you don't need the long range that you would have with a gasoline-powered vehicle. So that's something that I see happening.
Okay.
The investment in electric vehicles.
What about, you talk about public safety, what about the police station?
So the police station is overcrowded right now. So when they moved into the building with the library, the expectation was that they would be there for about 5 years, long enough for the city to build a new police station. And then here we are 10 years later, and we don't have a new police station. So the plan is that Public Works is the higher priority. We've got that already in process. So the plan is to put it over in the industrial park. And then once that is finished, then we can start making plans for the police station, which will probably be near the fire station, because there's 2 buildings that were part of the golf course that are owned by the city. Those will probably be torn down, and so that a new police station can be put there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we only have a couple minutes, but I just wanted to have you tell viewers how can they get a hold of you if they have questions about District 6 or about your plans for the city.
So they can email me at district6@hudsonwi.gov. They can call me. My home phone number is 715-808-0492. They can also reach me on Facebook, because I've got Joyce Hall, District 6 Alderperson Facebook page, and so they can send me a message through that. And or they can come down to the city council meetings and say hi and talk to me there.
When are those meetings?
The meetings are the first and third Mondays of the month. Usually then they're Tuesdays if we have a holiday on that Monday, and then they're at 7:00.
Very good. All right. Now, anything else you wanted to add as far as letting viewers know that about your candidacy and about your terms as council person?
Well, something that we didn't bring up was, first of all, some of the smaller accomplishments that I had, but helping the dog park being built, and then we've got a splash pad coming into White Camp Park.
Okay.
So that's really exciting. We've got a shared ride taxi service coming. It will be put into place January of 2024. And so there are a lot of things that are going on in the city right now that are really exciting to
Excellent.
see. Mm-hmm.
Well, they may not be big ticket items, but they do help with overall satisfaction of life, right?
Well, and that was one of the things that I was referring to when I said that, the well-being of our residents and our workers and our visitors, having a splash pad is a big issue.
Or a dog park.
Or a dog park for well-being, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Well, Joyce Hall, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And I want to tell our viewers, thank you for watching another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson. Keep watching.